The moment many have waited for has finally come to pass. The evil Usurper has been cast down, and now a new Overlord sits upon the throne of the city of Irsmuncast Niedge, and wears its heavy crown upon his troubled brow. Now he must convene the Privy Council within the Star Chamber. Guides and guardians who will help him on his rule, or hinder him if they will. However, he is no mere ruler. He is Ninja.
I am Ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in Quan. My way is the way of the tiger.
Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more of The Way of the Tiger. Now I'm picking up roughly where I left off last time, but I'm going back a paragraph, okay? As you know, in the previous episode we absolutely defeated the Grand Master of the Ninjas of the Scorpion with one endurance point left. We were so lucky. Should have done it with more, but he got another hit in before we could. We had an absolute blinder of a miss. We should have had definitely 5 plus 5 from a healing. We would have been on 10 instead of 6. It was brutal. Anyway, sometime later you are above ground. It is morning now, and the sun shines brightly on the idyllic valley that hides the evil cult of assassins in its bones. You will have to cross the inner sea to reach the fangs of Nadir. Examine your map. Now, as we determined last time, the old map wasn't that helpful. This is the book 3 map, and I didn't have a book 4 map with the PDF for the old book 4. However, since I do have the new full colour books and my trusty camera, I took a photograph. And here it is. Here is my picture of the new Book 4 map. I'm not sure how the old Book 4 map lined up to this. If we zoom in here, and don't worry about that, that's just like there's no information. That's a standard postal address thing. It's just the back of an envelope that I was trying to use to cover the flash on the camera so it wouldn't ruin the picture. Unfortunately, I couldn't hold the camera, hold the book open, have my finger on the trigger on the right hand side of the camera, and this over the flash on the left hand side of the camera without the book constantly closing, and I just still had the old envelope in my hand. This is just like, return to sender. It's a standard issue envelope, right? Nothing personal on there whatsoever. So, if I just go like that, get rid of a bit more envelope. We have Irsmuncast Nyedge, the Land of the Fire Drakes, the cities of Segasvar and Pest, Valley of the Scorpions, which is where we are. So we can go east or west. Now, this is going to get a little interesting. There's two ways this can play out. Alright? We know that we need to pass beyond the fangs of Nadir to the island of the Ouroboros. We know there is a dreaded kraken in here which will attack us and destroy us unless we have the Amulet of Nulak. However, going to get the Amulet of Nulak involves needing to go west, and we turn up here on the Isle of Thieves, and then I believe completely skip the Haven of Tor and go straight to the Fangs of Nadir. If we go east, we go to the Haven of Tor where there is no Amulet of Nulak, but we find another way of dealing with the problem. Okay? And I'm pretty sure the second time I played this book, because the first time I played it, I'm pretty sure I felt that first auto kill because of the exact wording of the same section that got me this time. The second auto kill that got me was a left or right choice. I went left instead of right, ran into the Kraken and was killed. I may have tried leaping overboard to try and swim away while it was preoccupied with destroying the boat, not knowing how much control it would have over its tentacles and if it would be paying attention to the surrounding water or heavily focused on wrecking the boat or not. I can't remember exactly how I died, right? But it was a great big fat auto kill. I'm going to try and get through it this time. However, I will say it's going to be a tough one because there's going to be some rough dice rolls along the way, because we are suffering -1 to all our modifiers. Yeah, we've also only got 2 points of inner force left and 6 endurance points. I am going to head east. Oh! Fuck off! Fuck off, you stupid piece of shit. I'm going to remove that button. That's pissing me off, that is. I've only clicked it about 3 or 4 times now, and it's just like, no, I never want to use whatever that horrible thing is. Right. So we're going to section 12, by the look of it. Fighting fantasy rules for now, as we have no better options. No good hints or obvious things, unless there's something obvious on the map. Like, in Valley of the Scorpions, couldn't we just try and stay on the land and like, cross a mountain range? Or through the forest? You know, this area. We almost can, but not quite. You head east into the mountains. After a long and arduous climb through the cold, inhospitable mountains of undying solitude, you begin the descent on the other side. Eventually, you have arrived at the foothills. You travel on, trotting constantly for miles across the barren wilderness until you come to more fertile lands. A faint smell of sea comes to your nostrils and you head towards it, knowing you must find transport across the inner sea. Your journey takes several days and passes uneventfully. You may restore up to 3 points of lost endurance for your restful nights. That takes us right back up to 9, and we can feel a little bit safer. At last you come to the coast. Standing on a hillock, you survey a long sandy beach. The sea, clear and blue, sparkles in the sun, and the air is fresh with the tang of salty water. You notice a small single-sailed boat pulled up on a beach a few hundred yards away, and you walk over to it. There is nobody nearby, but a fishing net, a tarpaulin, and some old oilskins are stacked neatly on the beach. You leave 15 gold pieces on the tarpaulin and push the boat out to sea and leap in. And the game knows that we can afford to pay 15 because it gave us 40. So we'll go down to 34. There we go. You find a few days' rations inside it. Soon you are sailing across the inner sea. A fair wind is behind you and perilous adventure ahead. Your spirit soars. The weather is good and you sail on for 2 days, a restful and uneventful journey. You may restore another 2 points of lost endurance. I will gladly do so, taking us back up to 11. Hooray! Eventually an island appears ahead. When you are closer, you can see it has a port city whose white walls glow redly in the setting sun. According to your map, it should be the haven of Tor. Will you put in at the port, or sail east towards the fangs of Nadir? Why would we sail east towards the fangs of Nadir without an amulet of Nulak? Let's put in at this island and see what fate has in store for us. Soon your little boat enters into the harbour of the haven of Tor. It is a beautiful city, several tiers of white stone climbing skyward. Several galleys, triremes and biremes are moored nearby. Some sails bear the symbol of a dancing sword, a tasselled scroll, and an open hand beneath them, the symbol of Gauss, the sage god turned warrior god. Others bear a pointed red cross on a white background, the symbol of the god Roshaval, lord of paladins and knights errant. Warriors dressed in armoured breastplates with greaves, round shields and crested helmets bearing 16-foot pikes patrol the harbour and man the city walls. It looked like Pat Rot or something. I was like, what is Pat Rot? As you disembark at the bustling quayside, you notice something odd about the city. Right across every inch of the city's rooftops and walls protrude vicious spikes, a good 15 feet in length. Each tier of the city walls is crested with many towers. Each turret contains several guardsmen surveying the skies, but not the outlying grounds. They man enormous ballistae, great crossbow-like devices pointed at the sky. Stretching between the towers are massive rope nets so that the whole city is encased in netting. You can only assume the city suffers from some terrible threat from the skies. And you have no reason to realise that there's an island right over here called Dragonhold. I point this out because I saw it there earlier and because somebody commented on the last video, oh, it's pretty hard having 4 fights back to back like that with no healing. It's not like the game's going to throw you into a fight with an ancient blue dragon next, is it? Oh wait, is it? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. We did see a picture of a dragon attacking a city, and I presumed it was the city of Irsmuncast nigh Edge that we would be defending upon our return. You decide to investigate if you can find nothing to aid you. At least you can wait till nightfall, when you can steal a more seaworthy boat. You pass through an archway in the wall of the lowest tier. A wide staircase, clear and bright in the sun, stretches up to the topmost galleries, where you can make out several temples, gleaming in the sun. Many people seem to be heading up, so you decide to see what is attracting them. After a tiring walk, you step through another archway to a lovely sight. Several temples, buildings of breathtaking architectural beauty, border a wide-open courtyard of flat marble. You recognize temples to Time, the All-Mother, Gauss, and Illustra, the Fountain of Love, but the largest and most awesome is the fortress-like temple of Rocheval, the Prince of Knights-Errant and wielder of the Holy of Holies. A great crowd of townsfolk have massed at the edge of the courtyard, waiting expectantly. Then a troop of people emerge from the temple to Rocheval. A line of white-robed priests is flanked by a line of warriors dressed in shining armour, great red crosses embroidered on their surcoats. Each and every one seems to radiate an aura of purity. But it is the towering warrior at the head of the procession that draws gasps from the crowds, especially amongst the women. He is tall and strong, bearing an unsheathed greatsword across his back that pulses with white light. Such presence you have never before seen. You have to resist the temptation to kneel before him and swear lifelong fealty to this godlike warrior. His eyes are a striking steel grey, and he seems to radiate peace and goodwill. "Paladin! It is Paladin!" the crowd murmur. "Oh. Paladin! It is Paladin!" the crowd murmur. "Keeper of the Holy Order of the Errant Templar!" At Paladin's side walks a young man no more than 14 summers, obviously his son. You guess this is to be a ceremony of coming of age. Suddenly, a great horn blast fills the air, echoing around the courtyard. A cry goes up. "Dragon attack! Dragon attack!" Turn to Section 9 and cack your fucking pants, ninja, because you are screwed! Look, we have 2 more endurance points than the session number. The 9 there might be an omen. Who knows? We have surpassed the 9. We're relying on map tools dice still, so fingers crossed, eh? All the way up to 9. This is the picture I saw before, and it looked like 2 dragons. One here, one... Actually, there's quite a lot of them. Ooh. "By the gods, run!" someone yells, and the crowd melt away like water. Looking up, you can see scores of red and black-scaled dragons in the sky. The sound of 100 leathery wings beating the air washes over the city. The priests disappear back into the temple, but the shining warriors surround their leader and his son. Paladin's face is grim as he looks up. "Never have I seen so many at one time." Then the dragons dive towards the city, and the tower's ballistae open fire. Volleys of enormous spear-like arrows speed heavenward, searing off dragon scales or sinking into soft underbellies. The priests of Rocheval appear at the towers and on the temple roofs. Lancing bolts of white fire flash from their hands into the midst of the dragon hosts, and some dragons plummet earthward to be caught in the nets. "To your posts!" shouts Paladin, and his warriors run to the highest point of the city's turrets. Then the dragons unleash a terrible assault on the city. Great spurts of flame burst from the mouths of the red dragons, and rivers of acid erupt from the mouths of the black dragons. But strangely, they ignore the towers and the ballistae and concentrate on the nets. Even though the rope nets are coated in fire-resistant material, the massed flames and acid burn it away in huge sections. Paladin is torn between shouting at his son to get into hiding and shouting orders to the city guardsmen. His son is resolutely refusing to leave, determined to fight at his father's side. Several dragons have been slain, and suddenly they switch from the nets to the city defences, and a terrible battle rages on. However, the nets have almost completely burned away. Then a bright blue speck high in the sky resolves itself into a truly enormous dragon, with iridescent blue scales. It drops out of the sky, straight at Paladin and his son. "Back!" he cries, pushing his son away, and he stands, legs apart, sword at the ready. Just before the massive blue dragon is about to hit the ground, it whips out its wings and they fill the air with a crack. It hangs above Paladin, great eyes glaring in rage and anticipation. It speaks, its voice booming, resonant with evil. "At last," it says. Then a crackling bolt of lightning leaps from its jaws. It strikes Paladin's gleaming white sword, and there is an incandescent flash. He is hurled through the air to crash in a heap. Slowly and groggily he battles to lift himself up. He is but stunned. The boy shouts out, "No!" and dashes towards the dragon, short sword in hand, obviously no match for the enormous monster. Will you decide this affair is none of your business? Head to the quayside and take a boat in all the commotion? Or run forward and try to save the young boy? Quan does not take kindly to cowardice, and Quan, the god we worship, wishes us to do good in the world. While we are an assassin, we are a relatively honourable one, and we should also be virtuous and gracious and save the boy, even if it's at great cost to ourselves. The dragon flaps its wings and descends to the ground, its head turning to the boy. You grab a spear dropped by a panicked militiaman. Will you dash forward and try to drive the spear into the dragon's side? Or run forward, barging the boy aside and face the dragon yourself? If we stab the dragon, it could just kill the boy. We gotta save the boy. Without a doubt. Without a question. We've only got 11 endurance points. You dash forward and hurl yourself at the boy. He is knocked aside and you turn to face the dragon, spear at the ready. The huge head fills your vision, the great jaws lined with massive teeth, 2 eyes malevolent and bright with intelligence, look down on you mockingly. It opens its mouth and unleashes a bolt of electric energy that streaks towards you. Your defense is 6 as you try to avoid it. Oh, great. Well, here we go. Okay, we've rolled 1. I should have put 2 dice. 1 and 5 is 6. It needs to roll higher than our defense to hit. So we avoid the lightning. Barely! Barely. By a hair's breadth, a gnat's cock, all the tiny little measurements. Smaller than an inch. The bolt flies over your head before striking the courtyard, where it shatters a slab of marble. The dragon rears its head back, preparing to snap at you with great jaws. It comes down. Will you now drive a leaping tiger kick right up the tip of its nose, using inner force? Try to drive your spear into its gaping maw. Presumably a viable option, but less reliable. Like, this is the big one. This is the backup if we don't have inner force or something. Or hurl 2 shuriken as fast as you can into its mouth. No. We are going to spend our penultimate point of inner force and try and kick it on the nose, knowing full well that we will be within deadly reach of its foul mouth should we fail. This is probably a fate roll. Okay. 1 kick does plenty. It's like 1 shit, but, you know. If you don't know 1 shit, by the way, it's like a pathetic... It's you know, series of adverts, right? 1 shit does plenty. And it's like a sheet of plenty, which is like a, you know, a absorbent kitchen towel. But the way he says it is like 1 shit. And it's just like, yeah, 1 shit can do plenty. Trust me. I know I have to clean them up sometimes. The dragon's defense is 7. As you leap up and drive your foot at its snout, uttering a guttural cry as the inner force wells up inside you. Which means that our kick modifier of +2, currently reduced to +1, comes into play. Yes! What do you mean success? What target was this going against? Okay. I mean, look. Oh God. I see. So our 2 dice of 9 plus 1 is 10. I put it in the wrong box. I've never used that box before. Wow. Okay. We have successfully kicked the dragon in the nose. Oh man, this reminds me of something epic from a few years ago, but let's depending on how this plays out, I may have an amusing story to tell. Your foot slams into the tip of its sensitive nose with bone-crushing force. The dragon rears back in agony, pawing at its snout, giving you time to back away. There is a bellow of rage, and you see Paladin charging at the dragon, wielding his shining white sword. The dragon whips round to face him, but Paladin delivers a mighty blow, and his sword slices through the dragon's scales like a hot knife through butter. Black ichor bubbles forth. The dragon rears back roaring, and Paladin thrusts his sword into its belly. The dragon tries to escape, but Paladin's attack is relentless. With 3 sword cuts he shreds one of its wings, and soon it is all over. Never have you heard tell of a dragon so easily bested by one man before. At the sight of this, the rest of the dragon host break off the attack and depart, leaving many dead dragons and men behind. So yeah, I remember first edition, I remember basic, I remember purple box. I remember blue dragons having lightning whip attacks, black dragons being acid, and red being fire, right? However, a few years ago, I was persuaded to take part in a, unfortunately, very short-lived 5th edition campaign. And as first level characters, we found ourselves in a city assaulted by a number of monsters, and in a tower that was attacked by a large dragon that came swooping down. And I was just playing a low-level paladin, ironically. And all I had was just, like a quarterstaff and some like light armor or something, nothing very impressive, right? And I just asked the GM, all these dead soldiers on top of the tower have been killed. Does any of them have a bow? And he said, yeah, okay, so one's got a short bow. So I ran over, scooted up a short bow, knelt and said a quick prayer, stood, aimed the first arrow my character had ever fired, and shot the dragon and pulled off a critical hit right up its nostril, inside the nose where there's no scales. The dragon was so startled and shocked that it flew away, and I laid the bow back down beside the soldier it belonged to, because it had done its part and answered my prayer, and I no longer had any need of it. And I carried on with my adventure. Everyone thought it was pretty awesome, and I was quite pleased with how it turned out as well. And it's so ironic I get to bring that back here. It's so appropriate. So, the dragons have been vanquished, bested, and sent off back to wherever they came from. And this blue dragon has been a long time trying to get through the nets to come down to attack. When things are calmer, Paladin walks up to you, his arm around the shoulders of his son. I cannot thank you enough for the life of my son, stranger, he says. You acted with great courage and unselfishness. Now I am forever in your debt. How can I repay you? He bows before you. Will you ask him for an amulet of Nulak? We know the amulet of Nulak is a very evil thing. Do we really think he would have such a thing in his possession or have anything to do with it? Or tell him who you are and what you seek to do? Yes, he may be able to aid us on our quest. A noble quest, Avenger, But to pass the fangs of Nadir, perilous indeed. However, I can help you there. On the coast to the south of the fangs is the Forest of Fables. Forest of Fables. It is inhabited by wood elves, and their lord is Galanwiel. He and I are old friends. Here, take this ring. And he gives you a gold signet ring bearing a carven lion upon it. I will give you a boat, and you can sail there. It is but a few days' travel. The elves will find you in the forest. Give this ring to Galanwiel, and say to him I sent you. He will aid you. You thank Paladin, and he orders a boat to be prepared for you. Soon you're at sea in a small but sturdy sailboat, heading east away from the setting sun. 2 days later, a shoreline looms up ahead, and you pull the little boat up onto the sandy beach. A thick wall of trees stretches away on either side where the beach ends. You walk towards them and enter the forest, but not before writing the golden signet ring with a carved lion upon our list of items. And yes, Paladin had another word name. Now then. The forest is murky and dark, musty with the smell of ages. After a few hours' travel, you encounter a stream and decide to follow it. Beams of sunlight penetrate the darkness ahead, and moments later you are standing at the edge of a clearing through which the stream runs. A fabulous beast of great beauty and presence is drinking gracefully from the stream, and you stand awestruck for a time. It is a unicorn. Its silvery flanks almost seem to gleam like armor, and its golden horn spirals delicately upward. Great are the powers of the unicorn's horn, and most fortunate is he who can master the unicorn as his steed. Will you run forward and try to leap onto the unicorn's back, or stay where you are and do nothing? Right. Unicorns do not take kindly to aggression. They only approach those who are gentle and peaceful and calm. We're a fucking ninja. But if we run out there and try and jump on the thing, it's probably going to just skewer us on its horn or something. You have to earn a unicorn's trust before it will approach you, and generally be a female virgin. At least one of which Avenger is not, because he's a man. So we shall stay where we are and allow it to continue its rest. Its drinking. The unicorn finishes drinking and canters away into the forest, a vision of grace and beauty. Then a figure steps out from behind a tree, dressed in oak leaf green, an ash bow in one hand. It is a wood elf with chestnut brown hair and amber eyes. He speaks in a rich and melodious voice. Welcome, stranger, to the Forest of Fables. I am glad you did not try to harm our brother, the unicorn. My name is Galanwiel, and I am the lord of the elves of the forest. Several more elves, dressed as he, step out as if from nowhere. They have obviously been following you. Not even your heightened sense of woodcraft was able to detect their presence. If you are an elf friend, I'm not sure how we would have earned this title. We are not, so we cannot claim that. If Paladin of the Haven of Tor gave you a ring, he absolutely did. So I think we know where this is going. You show Galanweel the ring and tell him your tale and ask for his help. As it is Paladin's wish, we shall give help to you, he replies. To pass the fangs of Nadir into the elemental sea is a perilous task, but we can aid you in this. Follow me. You follow him deep into the forest until you come to an area where the trees are less dense but much taller. Each tree is the home of an elven family lingering on tiered tree houses. You are led to the bank of a rushing river where several boats are moored. They are of white wood with beautifully carved swan prows. These are enchanted elven boats, mortal, and they respond to spoken commands. All you need to do is tell the boat the direction you wish to travel in, and it shall bear you there. With one of these you should be able to survive even the fangs of Nadir. The Elf Lord wishes you well, saying that this, the river Greenfen, runs to the inner sea. Head north and then east to reach the fangs, he finishes. You climb into one of the boats and an elf casts you off. You command the boat forward and it sails sedately away, but they don't give me back any endurance points. So, we'll just have to hope things work out okay, won't we? The elven boat takes you down a meandering river, through lush greenery and woodland filled with myriad flowers and monkeys of many colours. Soon you come out of the Forest of Fables and the river empties into the inner sea, presumably right around here. Because there is a little river there, if we look a little more closely. Actually, it's a long bloody river. Goes almost all the way off the map. I think it might go all the way off the map. Comes out about here. Quite near the Haven of Tor. We could almost go back and ask for some help. We got... And look at those great crashing rocks, and we don't have a dove to send through first, do we? Yeah, I remember the Odyssey. Anyway, oh no, that's Jason and the Argonauts again, isn't it, actually? Yeah. You command the boat to follow the coastline north. Soon it turns east, and at last the fangs of Nadir lie before you. They are incredible to behold. A thin strait passes between two rocky headlands that almost meet, but they crash together continually, driven by some enchantment, or perhaps the very rocks themselves are alive. The force of their meeting sends a great booming roar into the skies, and the water around the rocks heaves and surges in turmoil. You are thankful that you are not trying to pass through in an ordinary sailing boat, for you would stand no chance. You will have to time it perfectly so that the rocks are surging apart when you try to race through. Will you pass nearest to the left-hand mass of rock or the right? Now, perhaps the reason I died last time is that I didn't have an elven boat. I may have got the Amulet of Nulak last time. I'm going to live very dangerously and take the left-hand path again. And if I die, you'll all see what happened to me many years ago. If I find a way to survive, that will be another matter. The swan-prowed boat glides forward at a word, angling closer to the left-hand rock. The water is a broiling maelstrom, but the boat sails on. You grip its sides as it tries to hold its course through the heaving waters. The noise is deafening as the elven boat bucks and shudders through the fangs of Nadir. Suddenly the sea boils upwards as the rocks begin to close again. You think you are about to be crushed when the boat surges forward into calmer waters. The rocks come together behind you with a great crash. Heaving a sigh of relief, you look out onto the elemental sea. A small island lies not more than half a mile away from you, but between you and it rages the elemental sea. I thought we were in calmer waters. You guess it to be the one the Grand Master of Shadows spoke of. It seems calm enough, save where sudden geysers and spouts of water erupt randomly and whirl along at enormous speed for a little way back and forth, ranging around like a wall of water before subsiding into the sea once more. It is aptly named, for these are water elementals. You command the boat onward, knowing... I see. Do not have an amulet of no lack. You command the boat onward, praying to Quan that an elemental will not surge up below you. However, much to your surprise and joy, the elven boat seems to sense the presence of these liquid creatures, and is obviously able to avoid them, for it weaves and dodges its way to the island and somehow manages to avoid them as they fountain up around you, playing joyfully, it seems. The island is drawing closer, when there is a sudden boiling of the water before you, on a much greater scale than that caused by the water elementals. Huge tentacles clear the wave tops and begin wildly thrashing the sea. A great bloated squid-like body heaves itself up, water cascading off it in tiny rivulets. Two milky eyes stare at you balefully, the eyes of the kraken. A great beaked maw clashes before you as you struggle to stay afloat in the tumult of its rising. We do not have an amulet of Nolak, and we were instructed we would need one to prevent this beast from assailing us. We have failed to get one, and now we'll have to make do without, somehow. The kraken reaches out for the boat, and a tentacle coils around the prow and begins to lift it. Will you stay in the boat, or leap out and take your chances in the sea? The sea is full of elementals. And while the magic boat can avoid them, we may not be able to. Also, this thing has many tentacles. I shall stay in the boat for now. Come hell or high water, I suppose. It lifts the boat clear out of the water, and it is all you can do to stay in it. You are on a level with its enormous lidless eyes, its bulbous body, a sickly putrid cream colour below you. The great maw opens wide, ready to devour you. Will you try to hurl a shuriken at one of its eyes? Spit a poison needle if you had that skill, which we do not, at one of its eyes, or try to leap out of the boat into the sea. That's the second chance we've had to leap out of the boat into the sea. I don't think we should take it. We have ninja stars and should make use of them. I will mark one off now. We now only have one shuriken and 1 point of inner force. Fighting for balance in the boat, you send a shuriken spinning towards one of the huge unblinking eyes. It tears through the glutinous membrane, and a drop of greenish ichor wells up through the wound. The kraken thrashes its tentacles in agony, and you are sent flying through the air. You crash into the water, and when you come up, you see the elven boat intact a few yards away from you. It is upside down, but incredibly, it rights itself. You look around for the kraken, but it is already sinking beneath the waves, returning to the watery depths to nurse its insignificant but painful wound. You swim to the boat and climb in and lie for a few moments, gasping for breath after your ordeal. The small island is close now, and soon you are on the shore. The island is a round circle of earth, only 100 yards across. It is bare of vegetation, and the air is cold and clammy, even though the sun beats down brightly from above. At the centre lies a cloud of mist, static and unmoving. You walk into it, and it billows about, chilling you to the bone. Then you emerge into a clearing bounded by the mist, so that little light gets through. And here we can expect to meet the demonic beast, formed from a corrupted elf. A heap of skeletal remains lie piled in a corner. Before it stands the devil beast. It is humanoid with great long arms that hang to the ground. Its hands are inordinately large, ending in vicious black talons. It half squats, half stands on two long legs. The thighs are peculiarly powerful, modified for jumping. The lifeless-looking skin is grey and warty. The head vaguely elfin, but the nose bulbous and misshapen. Great yellowed tusks protrude from its drooling mouth, and its long, thin hair is lank and matted with filth. Its eyes are dull without intelligence, but they seem to glaze evilly with a malevolent red light. Elven grace and beauty has been twisted into evil grotesqueness. The devil beast growls low in its throat, then nods at you. Blasts of scarlet energy lance from its eyes at you. If you have acrobatics, you have not been doing this playthrough, but indeed a rather different one with a different skill set. If not, your defense is 6 as you try to dodge the unexpected attack. You cannot block this magical attack either, which is interesting. It implies that some of the other times we may be able to block anyway. Okay, here come Maptool's dice. A double 1! Oh! Oh, yes! Let's just take each successful evasion of damage at this low point. I mean, we're on a 55% health, right? And after that dice roll, we are still on 55% health. It's the way of the tiger with the well-thought-out fights, standing up to the challenge of our rivals. Man, I worked out a whole parody word for the thing at one point. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Right. The flaming blasts of ruby energy lance past your shoulder. You look up to see that its eyes are dull and empty, save for a gleam of malice. It gathers itself to leap, and you may hurl a shuriken as it bounds towards you. Its defense against this is 7. Whether you're successful or not, it lands in front of you, talons flailing. You know what? I probably should try. My last ninja star. I doubt I will get another opportunity. A 6. We miss. Our star goes wild as it goes jumping and bounding about all over the place. Okay. Will you use a forked lightning strike, a whirlpool throw, or a tiger's paw chop? Something tells me that the whirlpool throw is not the option here. I mean, it's similar to a basic entry-level Aikido throw, but not quite. It's using more of the hip and gripping the head on the way down. Whereas normally for an Aikido throw, the grip would be on the wrist and the elbow. And then pulling with them as they go forwards. Sometimes getting a leg in there. Forked lightning kick is for 1-2. Tiger's paw chop. We have a better kick modifier. Its retaliation against the kick may be nastier. It's probably really nasty anyway. Okay. I feel we're going straight into combat sections here. We are indeed. Oh, it's got 14 endurance points and hits hard. Okay. And we could have hit it with a ninja star. Oh god, that is a high defense against the kick. You kick at its groin, then up at its neck in a rapid 1-2 strike. The Devil Beast has a defense of 8 against the forked lightning strike, and we only have a +1 kick modifier because of the reduction. 8 is not a success because we need to pass it. I didn't notice the... Oh, I did it again! Which means that 8 is a 9! It's a success! I think the key is in the word success here. And I should have trusted myself and gone for a... point of inner force. I did not do so. That is 3 points of damage We're now neck and neck on the endurance. If not, it tries to grab you and bite at your throat. We have not reduced its endurance to 4 or less. So it tries to grab you and bite at your throat with its razor-sharp teeth. Your defense is 7. Okay, 2 dice, no modifier. 5! Ha! We survive and are not struck. If you are still alive, we'll use a tiger's paw chop, a whirlpool throw, or kick again. We'll try the tiger's paw chop to play spot the difference. Right, so defense 8, 7 on the retaliation. Defense 7 against tiger's paw chop, but our punch modifier is 1 lower. Defense is 6. Oh god. Okay, we're going back to the kick after this one. You bring both your hands together in a double chop aimed at both sides of its neck. 2 dice. Its defense of 7 was not enough for our attack of 9. So we get 1d6 damage, dropping it down now to 8 endurance points, but we must not celebrate just yet. We have not reduced it to 4 or less endurance. It tries to rip open your stomach with a taloned hand. Your defense is 6. That's gonna hurt. 2 dice. Total of 6. Does not pass 6. It's not a 7. We are not hit. We will go back to the kick. Now, if we only need to reduce it to 4 points of endurance, and we have already dealt 6 points of damage, we only need to do 4 more. Which means 1 successful kick, rolling a 2 or more for damage. That's a 5 in 6 chance. I don't think I'm going to use Inner Force. You kick at its groin, then up at its neck in a rapid 1-2 strike, and this time I put the +1 modifier in the correct box, which of course means now I'm probably going to miss. Let's see. 2d6 plus 1 is 9! A very successful kick. I love it. And for damage, bosh! 8 points! We definitely reduced it to 4 or less endurance points. It has none. We got exactly the remainder. Okay. The devil beast bounds backwards on its powerful legs, howling in pain. It crouches, slavering, badly wounded. Then it waves its hand, and a pile of skeletal remains begin to animate before your very eyes. Your scalp crawling, you watch as a human skeleton assembles itself from the heap of bones and clatters towards you. Its joints creaking and jaws snapping. Summoning your resolve, you leap forward and drive a winged horse kick at the undead thing. It has 10 endurance. If we fail to kill it, we keep kicking. You know what? Its defense is 6 against the kick. And technically, our other opponent is already dead. I'm going to spend my last point of Inner Force. I may regret this. Wait, my defense is 7? Nah. Straight kick. 8, that's a success. 1 plus 2 is 7. I mean, I'm not sure the fight accounted for my opponent being absolutely defeated at that point, because I probably wasn't supposed to get those exact damage rolls. It tries to batter you with its bony fists. My defense is 7. No mods. Boom. 5 misses. Wow! The low rolls have all been for my opponents so far, and I should not expect that to continue. Oh, wow. Okay. This looks like it's from that fight with the Grandmaster of the Scorpion when he uses the darkness. We kick again. We absolutely kick once more. Boom! We fail to get over the 6. So I'm afraid my opponent will once again get to try and batter me. Double 1! Excellent! We kick a 3rd time. Successfully! It's only got 3 endurance left. Whatever we roll, it's dead. Okay. Back to the main threat. The skeleton collapses in a heap of shattered bones, never to rise again. The devil beast still crouches before you, barely able to move, but you can see as you look up from the skeleton that its eyes are burning with red light once more. You have no time to do anything but throw yourself to the floor. Your defense is 6 and you cannot block this magical attack. Okay. 2 dice. No modifier. Ah! We did not manage to avoid this one. Oh, this is going to hurt, isn't it? The bolts of energy lance into your side, burning your flesh and causing you to cry out in pain. Lose 6 endurance points if you are still alive. With our 5 remaining endurance points, which we mercifully are. You pick yourself up off the floor and approach the devil beast, which cowers before you. You are filled with revulsion. A single tiger's paw chop finishes the creature off and it slumps to the ground, dead. Immediately the mist dissipates, and as the sun's rays play upon the beast's body, it begins to shrivel up until nothing is left but ashes. Resting atop the ashes is a sceptre of gold inlaid with many gems. Embossed on its head is a finely carved golden hippogriff. Beside the sceptre lies a glowing green gem, the orb. It is not as large as you had expected, perhaps the size of an eye. At last you have found that which you have sought. A great weariness comes over you, for you have battled long and mightily to find these things. That is certainly true, given the encounters we've been through. You reach down and pick them up. Suddenly everything around you goes white and misty. Well, I'm writing these down just in case they get taken away from me, because at least I'll have had the satisfaction of having held them. Golden scepter. Inlaid with many gems. Head depicts a griffin. Hippogriff, sorry, yeah. I knew we were going for a double F rather than the PH normally associated with a griffin. Oh wait, we're going with an I. Okay, yeah, that works. Hippogriff. Okay. Oh, 420 we know is a magic number in this series. After a long, cold moment of utter silence, the mist clears, but only partly, to reveal stone flags underfoot and a familiar battlement. For a time, the shadowy outlines of a building which looks like Quenchheart Keep appear through the gloom. The mist clears a little more, and you sigh contentedly. The battlements are those which ornament the roof of your palace in Irsmuncast Nyedge. The sceptre or orb, or both, have transported you back magically from the elemental sea. On realizing where you are, you begin to survey the city. The mist is in fact smoke drifting across from the edge side. Irsmuncast is burning. You peer down on Palace Walk. The lime trees have been cut down. The street is full of dark elves and orcs. Evil has come. Fear for your people grips you. Has the city been overrun? As you turn to the staircase which leads to the throne room, a large black raven flaps slowly towards you, bearing a small cylinder in its cruel beak. It perches on the battlement, opens its beak, and lets the cylinder fall to the stone flags before you. You pick it up as the raven caws twice, loudly and derisively, before flapping away through the mist like smoke. Inside the hollow silver tube is a message. Avenger, an old score shall be settled. The legion of the Sword of Doom shall conquer the city of Irsmuncast and bring its people into slavery. I swear by Sorcerak to kill you with my own hands. Honoric. This is dire news indeed, but will you have the remnants of an army to lead against the Black Legion? A great wail goes up from somewhere in the streets below. And our journey will continue in Book 5 of The Way of the Tiger, Warbringer. Wow, we didn't even get a total heal. We may be going into the next book with 5 endurance and 1 inner force and no ninja stars. Oof, that's rough. I mean, it would be nice if coming back would have healed us. But I have completed this book. I've beat this book for the first time. On recording as well. I feel great. The amount of times those dice rolls could have gone against me and really screwed me over is pretty phenomenal. Oh, you know what? Book 5. Let's take a quick look, see if there's anything here. Oh, wait. Do we have any Book 4 errata that I might have missed? No. Great. Book 5 does, however. Please note that for paragraphs 213, 263, and 283, you win against the spawn of. If you win against the spawn of rift, you should turn next to paragraph 323. Following paragraph 361, the correct turn should be to paragraph 271. I will have to pay attention to those. So, do we have anything here in the introduction overtly stating that we get a total heal? Or maybe examine the scepter and the orb on the battlements. Probably a good idea. That may heal us. Actually, we got the background here. We don't even have the rules. I will check the new book to see if there's a rules section and more information before turning to section 1. But that can wait until I play the next book. Wow, we've been in Book 4 and whew, it was a tough one. It was a very tough one. It's always nice to get that feeling of completing a new book. I feel good. It's also 2:44 in the morning, so I probably shouldn't stay up too much longer. Although I might just stay up and, you know, I'm riding the wave of energy, you know, here, the excitement, how close those rolls were. That was impressive, and I managed to do it all in one take as well. I didn't have to split it up into 2 episodes. I was thinking, after defeating the dragon, maybe I should end the episode here, because I might have pushed my luck far enough already without going any further, and maybe leave the last bit of the book till next time. But looking up the map, you know, I was definitely getting the feeling that this is the last part of the book. And I wasn't far wrong, was I? Oh, adventure over. Wow. Well, there we are. We are a hero once again. I hope you've all enjoyed this one. I noticed that our modifiers haven't been restored yet. That may then happen at the beginning of the next book, because we also haven't had the thing about the gem being an eye just yet either. But yeah, if you did, hey, there's a like button, feel free to use it. Comment section is there, you're welcome to it, you know, and I presume we'll be starting Book 5 soon. That went rather well. The king has returned to his city, and while all is in turmoil, order may soon be restored. But that is another story for another time. Although I probably won't make you wait too long before I get into the next book. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all soon in the next one. Bye. Bye for now, everyone. Cheerio.